would never actually do this, like ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people.
Surprisingly, you get a lot of action that way. We had a good time. No one died, but it was nice.
Thanks, Mom.
Y'all, this one is messy because word on the street is Sydney Sweeney just let it slip why Blake Lively allegedly tried to blacklist her. And the reason? It's got everything to do with Ryan Reynolds being a little too friendly with Miss Sydney. Now, fans are side-eyeing the whole situation, wondering if there's more to Blake Lively's Met Gala snub than we thought. Like, are we really about to witness a quiet Hollywood catfight unfold in real time? And y'all, when I tell you Sydney ain't holding back, she really said what she said. Let's dive right in. So now, let's talk about this sneaky little rumor that's been making its way around Hollywood. People are speculating that there might be something going on between Ryan Reynolds and Sydney Sweeney, and Blake, being Blake, allegedly was not here for it. Word is, she went full I will destroy you mode and tried to blacklist Sydney as punishment for even being in her husband's orbit. Now, let's be honest, this doesn't come as a shock to people who've been peeping Blake's energy for a while. That sweet, perfect Pinterest mom image she gives? Yeah, it's giving controlled PR fantasy. The real Blake? Allegedly toxic. And that lawsuit she filed against her co-star Justin Baldoni just proves it. Like, she accused him of all kinds of stuff that, if we're being real, barely adds up. And I'm not the only one saying it. Online, people have been dragging her, calling the whole lawsuit a reach. One person even commented, "Pathetic. Everyone just needs to cancel the couple and stop talking about them. No fans. No fame. No career. No money. Justice." And let's not even get started on this other comment that perfectly summed up the collective vibe. The way this is coming out. Wow. Ryan and Blake's team really fumbled that one. How dare they do that to a young actress? I hope they get everything coming to them. Nobody's buying their over-the-top PDA trash, and now it's coming out. And I'm here for it. The internet is not holding back, and honestly, can you blame them? Especially when Sydney's just out here trying to live her best life and get her coins. Speaking of living her best life, Miss Sweeney popped out at the 2025 Met Gala looking drop-dead gorgeous, like a literal doll. She stepped onto that carpet fresh off a breakup with her ex-fiancé Jonathan Davino and still ate the whole look up. She wore a black Mio Mio gown that showed off just enough to make the haters choke and paired it with De Beers jewels and a sleek updo.
A lot of action that way. We had a good time. No one died, but it was nice.
That was good.
And 4 kids, it's just a zoo. Like, you just surrender, right?
You just have to surrender.
24/7, you surrender. When we had our 4th, I was so happy because I always wanted to make sure that we always had someone on hand to give me strep throat. And now we're covered.
It's rolling sickness.
There's just never a healthy, a full clean slate health.
But while Sydney was out there owning the night, guess who skipped the Met Gala entirely? Blake and Ryan. Now y'all, the streets are saying it's because they didn't want any awkward run-ins at the event. I mean, imagine showing up and seeing your husband's rumored crush serving body odie on the carpet. That would have been a PR nightmare. Of course, their team tried to spin it like it was no big deal. AS Weekly source said, "She's not a Kardashian that goes every year." And TMZ tried to clean it up too, reporting that their decision to skip had nothing to do with the lawsuit Blake's dealing with, or the drama with Sydney. They claimed the couple had made their decision well before the legal mess went public. But let's be real, nobody's buying that. Neither Blake nor Ryan has publicly addressed their absence. But the timing, the tension, the headlines, all of it's giving cover-up, not coincidence. And get this, the hate Blake Lively allegedly has for Sydney Sweeney? It's not just about Ryan Reynolds anymore.
Nope.
Some sources are whispering that Sydney might also be getting cozy with another man connected to Blake, and that's her former co-star, Brandon Sklenar. So Sydney was definitely going to catch some smoke for that. In a short TikTok clip that's been going viral, Sydney and Brandon are seen vibing hard in the VIP section during Creed's set. And y'all, the way Sydney backed it up on him? Not a full-blown twerk, but it was giving soft flirtation. Like, very much we're just friends, but with sparks flying everywhere.
Tell me like
She'll be like
funny
smooth as pie. It should be smooth as silk or whatever.
Easy as pie.
Yeah,
Right.
and smooth as silk. But my mom, I think, is a very confident person, and so for me, yeah, I sort of like struggled with that because I've sometimes judged her for being so confident, which I think is like not fair, right?
Yeah, you're such a bad daughter.
Terrible daughter. See, this is an entire therapy session. What you've stepped into, you didn't realize.
So both of you are very active on social media, and there are a lot of people have opinions about you. How do you kind of just like, you know, not let it affect you at all?
Everyone's opinion of me is just so positive. I do let it affect me. I do. Because everyone's like,
endorphin
you're
rush.
great, and I'm like, I know.
You're not great. Blocked.
Yeah.
Do you block people ever?
No, I've muted some people. Now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted. Yeah. Like Lively.
You can mute people on Instagram?
Yeah, it's a new feature.
Really?
I know. Get excited.
Brand new. This is Hollywood. You don't get caught on camera doing that with someone unless there's already some kind of connection. And when it comes to Blake, people say she is not the type to just brush that off. Not when it's two men who are both close to her. So yes, we've gone over the whispers, the shade, and the soft launch hate campaign against Sydney Sweeney, all allegedly sparked by some vibes with Ryan Reynolds. But y'all are probably asking, how did it even get to this point? Let's go back and break down how this all actually started, how Sydney went from career highs to being iced out, all in a matter of days. April 15th, 2025. Sydney's at her peak. That Glass Chapel panel in Paris had execs finally seeing her as more than just the hot girl from Euphoria. Critics were talking, Netflix was reaching out, scripts were flying in. Ryan Reynolds even complimented her publicly for how she carried the panel. Everything was aligning. But when Sydney flew back to New York, something changed. Her career was already being quietly shut down, and she didn't see it coming. On that flight, Sydney was chilling. But a few rows ahead of her, Ryan was on the phone, and not being discreet. According to someone who heard him, he allegedly said that his relationship with Blake Lively is contractual. If true, he wasn't just talking about a rough patch. He was allegedly saying the whole marriage was staged, a PR deal. And Sydney? She stayed silent. But someone else on that plane didn't. They were industry connected and clearly had no issues spreading what they heard. And just like that, Sydney went from it girl to liability. 2 days later, her phone stopped ringing. Meetings got canceled. Interviews went dark. Even her agent pulled back. Nobody said why, but the industry knew. She was being labeled as a high-discretion risk, not because she said anything, but because she could. They weren't willing to take that chance. They didn't protect Ryan by fixing the problem. They protected him by turning her into the problem. And that's where Blake's power came in. She didn't have to say anything publicly, but when someone like Blake Lively decides you're a threat, doors start closing real fast. It wasn't just about that one conversation. It was the idea that Ryan might have trusted Sydney too much, that he let something slip, that he got too close. And people were catching on. One commenter summed it up. Ryan is already torpedoing his career. Blacklisting Sydney to try and save Ryan is beyond a desperate move. And it is. The way this all played out doesn't feel like damage control. It feels like panic. Sydney didn't break any rules. She didn't leak anything. But somehow, she's the one paying the price. Now here's where things get real shady. Behind the silence and dropped calls, there was a quiet storm. And Blake Lively was right in the center of it. People inside the industry say Blake wasn't just reacting, she was moving. When Ryan's little airplane monologue started making the rounds, Sydney's name got tied to it fast. Not because she leaked anything, but because she was there. She heard it. And if she heard that, what else could she know? Blake, being who she is in Hollywood, didn't wait around. She started making calls, whisper campaigns, quiet suggestions to pull Sydney back. And the fallout? It's all there. Dior dropped Sydney's campaign mid-shoot. No press release, no explanation. Just gone. Netflix pulled her from a lead role she'd already screen tested for. Said the creative direction had shifted. Then a Slack message leaked from someone inside the studio. Pull her visibility. Sydney didn't post, didn't clap back. But it was clear, this wasn't a coincidence. Fast forward a bit further, and Glass Chapel was finally premiering in New York, her first major dramatic lead. Her team had everything set. Designer dress, glam squad on standby, car confirmed, arrival time locked. But what did she get? Not a red carpet, not a call sheet, not even a mention in the press lineup. Just a guest wristband. As in no photo ops, no interviews, no spotlight. The studio blamed logistics. Said Ryan's schedule was too tight. Said they had to streamline the press run. But nowhere in the messaging did Sydney's name come up. Not in the invites. Not in the articles. Not even on the call sheet. And just like that, the entire premiere turned into a Ryan Reynolds solo event. He walked that carpet alone. Suit pressed. Smile locked in. Looking unbothered. Every photo, just him. Every headline, Ryan shines at Glass Chapel. The movie wasn't mentioned once. She was cut out of the very thing she helped build. So here's what people behind the scenes are whispering, and it's making this whole thing look even messier. There's a growing theory that Ryan's little phone slip-up on that flight wasn't an accident. That maybe, just maybe, it wasn't even a rant. It was a confession to Sydney. Because think about it. Why was he talking like that on a public flight? Why wasn't he worried about being overheard? It's almost like